Good morning and welcome to Breakfast with John Kay and Sally Newton. Good morning, our headline today. Showdown on sleaze. The Prime Minister faces questions in the row over MP second jobs. Are you feeling the pinch because from snakes and trees to utility bills and the price of petrol at the pump, we are all paying more somewhere? We get the latest inflation figures a bit later. I'll be speaking to businesses, customers here on Intram. And good morning, coming up in sport, the fallout from a Damien Day for English cricket, as Reggie Braffett accused for the sport of being institutionally racist. And we will speed light to the queen of the disco, Sophia Alice Pastor, as she enters the last few hours of her 24-hour dance-a-thon for children in need. Good morning from Kew Gardens. We are here to see the illuminated Christmas trail, which opens to the public today. It's a chilling start whenever you are. Some clear skies, some sunshine, but clouds going to build from the west, bringing some of us some rain later. I'll have all the details later on in the program. Hi there, good morning, Wednesday, the 7th of November, and our top story is that the Prime Minister's plans to tighten the rules on second jobs for MPs are going to be debated in Parliament today as the row continues over sleaze. It follows weeks of mounting political pressure after the former Tory MP Owen Paterson was found to have broken lobbying rules at a pet consultant. Our political correspondent Helen Catt reports. The Prime Minister has a third day of questioning ahead as he tries to draw a line under the sleaze allegations which have dominated Westminster for the last few weeks. Yesterday, he announced he would support banning MPs from working as pet political consultants. At the exact moment, Labour was holding a press conference calling for the same. Labour talking the Prime Minister's move as a win, but it would still like to see a wider ban on MPs having second jobs, except if it's for a public service like nursing or working as a doctor. The government wants to focus not on what MPs do, but on how long they spend doing it. Boris Johnson said he would back changing the code of conduct to put a reasonable limit on MPs' outside activities and punish those who neglect their duties. Exactly what Spain proposes miles away from where the government was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, they were talking really about watering down the current system. Now they are talking about not only tightening the rules, but putting that in the hands of system as it currently exists. But it is Parliament, not the government, which actually sets the rules for MPs. So the detail would have to be worked out there if it chose to go ahead, and some Conservatives are concerned the consequences aren't clear. I'm very cautious on this because I know that some of my colleagues have jobs and outside work that they do, and that means them having to give up change in their life. We have to be careful about this. We have to realize that we are dealing with human beings who have families and responsibilities, though, whilst, as I've said before, the first duty must be to Parliament to constitute into the work we do for our country. Any changes, I think, should be evaluation. They will get a chance to quiz the Prime Minister directly later. He is expected to address a gathering of his own backbenchers this evening. Before that, he faces the Liaisons Committee of senior MPs. And before that, he Labour leader and Prime Minister questions. Boris Johnson may hope the end of the sleaze row is in sight, but there will be a lot more questions to answer before he gets there. Helen Cat, BBC News, Westminster. Let's go live to Westminster and speak to our chief political correspondent, Alan Fiemlin, who joined with us on breakfast. Hi Adam, so the Prime Minister's pretty hoping he can put this list out of bed today, but he's got a lot of get through, hasn't he? Before he goes to bed himself tonight, a lot on. Yeah, it's a business day where we're going to see loads of Prime Ministers, as Helen was just saying. Prime Minister's questions, then he got the Liaisons Committee, which is lots of chairs of the parliamentary committees grilling him for a couple of hours, and then we understand he's going to go and speak to his own passenger this evening, and he will be hoping that it's this kind of bold move he does on second jobs. Some people might call it a bit of a change of position. Well, we'll try and talk a line under this whole saga. I'm not sure it will through because that what will happen today is that a process will be started, where Parliament will look at its own rules about second jobs. There'll be more arguments about pros and cons of various proposals, and then maybe in the new year, or maybe a bit later, there will then have to be a vote on many new proposals that will come forward on, and those arguments will be had again. And who knows what cases and things will be happened in Parliament in the meantime. Also, this has made those cracks, the Conservative backbenchers, even wider because there are quite a lot of MPs who aren't sure about giving up their outside jobs because they think it's totally fine that they do them. They are worried about the ideas that have been put forward by pro-Labour and the Conservative Party, and how workable they are, and some conservatives think that actually Boris Johnson has just bowed down to demands from Labour, and he should have resisted them, and he paid a political price as a result. So it's all quite a big, combustible mix of things, which means the story isn't over yet, even though we are now been talking about this for more than 2 weeks. Indeed, Adam, thank you very much. Indeed, we are checking with Adam throughout the programs. Also going to be speaking to the chair of the Common Standards Committee, Labour's Chris Bryant. And from the government side to the International Trade Secretary Anne-Marie Trevelyan a bit later. Now the UK latest inflation figures will be out this morning, and they will reveal how much the cost of living is rising. It's come as supply chain issues, higher energy costs, plus a shortage. The labor markets have pushed the price of consumer goods higher. Inflation showed unexpected in September, but of course, August saw the largest increase since records began back in 1997. The Home Secretary Priti Patel has said the bomb explosion outside Liverpool Women's Hospital on Sunday is a reflection of a dysfunctional asylum system. Ms. Patel, speaking to reporters on a flight to Washington, said it was a complete merry-go-round, with a whole industry devoted to defending the rights of individuals intent on causing harm. It was revealed yesterday that the Liverpool attacker, 22-year-old Adam Al-Suman, was a failed asylum seeker. Health officials this morning warning of a heightened pandemic of antibiotic-resistant infections if people fail to act responsibly after COVID. That's according to the UK Health Security Agency, who say they should only be prescribed when they are really needed. Last year, 1 in 5 people with an infection had an antibiotic-resistant one, although the overall number of infections in England did fall because of lockdown. Police border guards have used tear gas and water cannons against a group of migrants trying to enter the country from Belarus. Belarus has been accused for pushing migrants to the border to try and destabilize the EU, a charge it denies. There have been more than 5,000 attempts by migrants to cross into Poland from Belarus so far this month, compared to just 88 in the whole of last year. At least one person died and several others are missing after a violent storm caused floods and mudslides. Across British Columbia, in Canada, thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes, with officials describing it as the worst weather storm in a century. Our North American correspondent David Willis has more. After a summer of wildfires and record high temperatures has come this. More rain in a day than people here used to in a month. It left hundreds trapped in their cars overnight, severed rail links to Canada's largest port in the city of Vancouver, and has cut power supply to thousands of homes. The rain has also brought with it mudslides, which forced the evacuation of an entire town. Hundreds of people, many of them children, were loaded onto buses after being airlifted to safety from the town of Esquisse in British Columbia. Others have found themselves stuck inside with the flood waters rising. We are safe. We are a little bit above where the flooding is all occurred, and are again lucky that happened. And my uncle's house is underwater. My cousin who just have finished having a baby in Kamloops 2 days ago, their house is totally flooded. They have nowhere to go. Across the border in Washington state, torrential rains and high winds have also been wreaking havoc, flooding roads and again trapping people in their cars. Some counted themselves lucky to have escaped, rolling down the windows and looking for the easiest way out, had to crawl through the passenger side because car ended up titling with driver's side towards the ground a little bit, so crawled down the passenger side and was able to get down, thankfully. The outskirts of Vancouver has now experimental their hosted and their wasted days on record within the space of just a few months. As in many other parts of the world, it's left people here wondering whether this is what constitutes the new normal. David Williams, PBC News, Los Angeles. Now the Cambridge Dictionary has revealed that its word of the year is perseverance. It's a bit weird, isn't it? But they say, well, yeah, because I thought they were talking about our perseverance as people, but in fact they're saying that piqued interest when NASA Perseverance rover make its final descent to Mars in February. Early this month, the Oxford English Dictionary chose vast because we are speaking interesting in vaccine related words a spike. So what you did very good.